Date 2. Found out my name wasn't even mentioned in my parents' will, everything went to my sister. So I quietly stopped covering their bills. A month later, Mom texted, "Power's about to get shut off." No hello, no explanation. I just replied with one word, and blocked her. I stared at that sentence for a while, then folded the file and slid it back across the counter. I didn't need a copy, I didn't need proof. I just needed clarity. On the way back to the office, I stopped at the bank. I wasn't sure what compelled me to do it right then, but something in me wanted to finish the clean break. Lindsay and I had shared an old joint account from when we briefly tried to launch a business together. She'd begged me to keep it open in case we ever gave it another shot. I'd left it with just a few hundred in it, forgotten. But when I checked the transaction history, I nearly laughed. For the last 6 months, she'd been quietly transferring that money into her personal account, small amounts, $25 here, $40 there, as if I wouldn't notice, as if I wouldn't care. I emptied the account, closed it, and flagged the activity, not to get her in trouble, just to send a quiet message, "I'm not your safety net." Then came the real step, a conversation I had been avoiding for a long time. I called a lawyer, not the kind of flashy, billboard-type lawyer with a grin that made your skin crawl, a quiet, middle-aged woman named Teresa who came highly recommended by a colleague. We sat in her office over cups of lukewarm coffee while I laid everything out, the will, the bills, the years of financial support with no paper trail. "I'm not looking to sue them," I clarified. "I just want to protect myself, legally, financially, emotionally." She nodded slowly. "There's a lot we can do. First, let's talk about boundaries, then about documentation. You've been acting as their financial caregiver for years. If they try to guilt you into resuming that role, you'll need clean, firm records of what you did and when you stopped." It was like she read my mind. She helped me draft a formal letter, one I never thought I'd send. It politely, professionally stated that I was no longer responsible for any bills, debts, or obligations related to my parents' property. It didn't include accusations, it didn't carry bitterness, just facts, sealed with a notary stamp. I mailed it, certified delivery, signature required. 3 days later, Lindsay called me at work. I let it ring. She called again, then Mom, then Dad. The voicemails grew increasingly frantic. "Mark, why are you doing this to us? We didn't mean anything by it. Just talk to us." Then came the one that really hit me. It was Lindsay, her voice lower this time, less chirpy, more desperate. "Mom says they might have to sell the house. They can't afford all this, Mark. You know that. I can't take them in, I have my own kids." She paused. "You were always the one who helped. You're the only one who ever really kept this family together. Please, just help them through the winter." That sentence, "You were always the one who helped," not appreciated, not loved, not respected, used. That's when the shift happened, the emotional one. I wasn't angry anymore, not like before. The betrayal had been sharp at first, but now it was dull, a splinter left in too long, slowly numbing the skin. What I felt now wasn't rage, it was a quiet resolve, a curtain falling, a voice inside me finally speaking clearly. "You are not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm." The silence I gave them after that wasn't cruel, it was closure. But things didn't end there, because a week later, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, no return address. The handwriting was shaky but familiar. It was from Dad, and inside was a message that changed everything. The envelope was thin, too thin for what it carried. When I first saw it in my mailbox, plain white, no return address, just my name in trembling handwriting, I almost tossed it. Part of me assumed it was just another plea, or worse, an attempt to guilt me back into the role I'd walked away from. But something made me open it. Maybe it was the uneven way my name was written, like the pen had been clutched too tightly, or maybe it was that eerie silence that had followed Lindsay's last voicemail, the silence that didn't feel like surrender but strategy. Inside was a single sheet of paper, lined, torn from one of those cheap spiral notebooks Dad always had stacked near the TV. The ink had bled slightly on a few words, like it had been written slowly, with pauses. It read, "Mark, I don't expect you to forgive us. I'm not sure we deserve it. Your mother made the decision about the will. She said it was simpler to leave everything to Lindsay. She thought you wouldn't care because you have your own life. I let her do it. That was my failure. I saw the copy of the letter your lawyer sent, and I understand now what it means, what you've done for us. I don't even know how to begin thanking you. You paid for things without complaint. You never asked for recognition. You just showed up. I let that go unnoticed for too long. I also know this letter probably won't change anything, but there's something you should know. Your grandfather left something for you, and your mother never told you about it." My eyes stopped there. I reread that last line a few times before continuing. The letter continued on the back. "He left you the cabin, the one by the lake. He signed the transfer papers before he passed, but your mother said it was better to keep it in the family name until you were ready. Then, when the new will was written, she told the lawyer to consolidate everything under Lindsay. I didn't object. That's on me. But the cabin wasn't hers to take. I kept a copy of the transfer. I hid it in the attic, in the metal box behind the insulation. Do what you want with it. I don't expect to hear back. I'm sorry, Dad." I sat there in my car for almost an hour, the letter resting on my steering wheel, the engine off, the world strangely quiet around me. There was no anger this time, no rising heartbeat, just a stillness, a clarity. It all clicked into place, the missing paperwork, the way Mom insisted we never talk about the cabin in front of other family, the time Lindsay randomly brought it up at Christmas 2 years ago. "It'll be great when we can remodel the lake house after, everything's settled." And I just assumed she was talking about someday far in the future. Apparently, she already thought it was hers. The metal box, the attic, the insulation. I drove straight there. The house was as unremarkable as always. A faded lawn chair sat by the porch, tilted at an angle that suggested no one had used it in weeks. The blinds were drawn, but I could see a light on in the hallway through a thin gap. I didn't knock. I still had the spare key, of course I did. Inside, it smelled faintly like old coffee and dust, the kind of smell that lives in every childhood memory, no matter how much you try to bleach it away. No one was home. That was luck, or maybe fate. I didn't care which. I climbed the stairs slowly, the letter still in my pocket. The attic door groaned like it hadn't been opened in years. I pulled down the ladder, climbed up, and was hit by a wave of warm, stale air. It was exactly how I remembered it, cluttered, forgotten, full of half-labeled boxes and old seasonal decorations no one bothered to throw out. The insulation was on the far side, near the chimney stack. I dug behind it, my fingers itching from the fiberglass. And there it was, a dented metal box.